Every year in Tecumseh, Michigan, people gather to show off their rides, from classic muscle to rare hot rods and anything and everything in between. Today, we'll check out the rides at the 26th Annual Ididit Car Show and Open House. Welcome to Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides, coming to you from Tecumseh, Michigan at the Ididit Annual Car Show. Today, we're going to check out some different rides that will amaze even the biggest collector. First is a Chevy pickup that's less truck and more hot rod.
It's a 1949 Chevy pickup. I bought a running driving car that my son was going to take to the prom, and I tore it apart the week before he went to the prom. He's 36 now. He still brings it up. Well, we put two cabs together to make the four-door, shortened up the back set of doors, hand-made the floor and the roof. We spot welded the original windshield, which was a 49. It's a 383 stroker motor, aluminum heads, 671 YN blower with electronic Hillborn 4-port fuel injection. This is the third time I've taken it out. Might have 400 miles on it now. Well, I put the shifter in the console just to hide it, so people would ask questions. And then I made the console cover to emulate the original glove box door and dash on a 48, 49 pickup. The hood is not on there because I have to modify the hood because the radiator was an inch thicker than what I had planned, and I had to cut into the fenders. So now I have to cut into the hood and remake the hood in the front to fit the radiator. I'm working on it in the garage now. The license plate is my father's license plate from 1949. It is what they call a waffle plate. It's made out of aluminum with a lot of dimples in it. Went to the DMV to have it registered to the car, and the lady had never seen one. So she said that I had made the plate and that I wasn't going to be able to do it. Well, they finally called down to Columbus. Columbus authorized it because they did actually find it in their notes or whatever. And so now I have my father's plate registered to my truck.
This is a 1938 Dodge Brothers hump top panel truck. This one was bought on a dare. It was a rusty old thing sitting alongside the road. I happen to be a guy that kind of liked Chrysler products, and so they dared me to buy it, and I bought it. They're kind of rare because of the fact that they were delivery trucks. This particular truck was Page Dairy out of Toledo, Ohio. It was one of their route delivery trucks, and the license plate that was on this truck, the last one was in 1957, so I'm assuming it was a route truck. I got a 1937. I bought it off of eBay. I bought it as a parts truck because you couldn't find it. I cut about 4 inches off the bottom of the body and the doors and recapped all of it because it was nothing but rust. I've got a garage underneath my house, and so this was my little hobby shop, and I'd go down there and work on it. So I had it in primer. It sat there for 25 years and never as much as even dusted it off. Took the notion to get it going. A year later, it was on the road, and I've had it on the road now for, I believe, 9 years. There's no parts for them. Or anything that you do, you have to make. So fabrication on it, if you look at that grill shell that's on this, there's probably 15 of those little strips that are in there that I took junior I-beams and ground them in order to take that and make up a template so I could take a hammer and start hammering them to put in there. If you look at the chrome around the front on that grill shell, that's nothing but a piece of brass that I started with. In Michigan, I only know of 2 other ones that are 38s. They're more around. I think more and more people are kind of finding some parts and throwing them together. They're rare because of the fact that they were delivery trucks.
After the break, we show you a gnarly Nash with a radical paint job on Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides. Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides is being brought to you by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Ididit Steering Column Specialists. If you can dream it, we can build it. Cargo Glide, flexible cargo management solutions. And by Dustless Blasting. It's the future of surface preparation. Welcome back to Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides, where we're showcasing some of the best rides in the area, including this rare car with some amazing features.
This is a 1940 Nash Lafayette. In 1940, Nash built 50 convertibles, and it was the last year they used both the Nash Lafayette name for the car. And at this time, Nash Historical Society, I believe there's 4 left. This is one of them. A gentleman in the state of Washington engineered the project. Just as he was getting close to finishing, unfortunately passed away. His wife kept it in storage for over 10 years, and then through luck I was able to acquire it and do some finishing touches. Work on the engine to get that back ready and running. The majority of the car was there. However, the back seat was not, so they had to customize the back seat. The makings of the convertible top were no longer in existence, so we were able to take a 40 Mercury convertible top and engineer that to fit. An artist from, at that time, Washington, named Kurt Smith, did the paint job. About 9 layers of paint. It's candy apple red. The ghost flames are black and silver. I try to take it to shows where mostly it's a fundraiser. I've done it for the Wounded Warriors, for special needs children. It's not usually a cruise car that I will take out to various cruises, but I try to get involved in fundraising projects. My mother lives with me, who's in her 80s, and she relayed a story growing up that my grandfather had a Nash. So when I knew about this car, I said to my mother, well, do you think we should get a Nash again so you can relive some of your memories? She thought that was cute and would be neat, and I surprised her with a Nash.
It's a 1940 Ford Coupe. I've had it for about 12 years. I've had it done for about 5 years. The long story goes, when I got married, I had a 1940 Ford Coupe that I used to use for street racing and kind of terrorized with, and got my first big ticket with it. They passed a new ordinance in Adrian against drag racing. I was number 1 to get the ticket. When I got married, the first child came along a little earlier than expected. I had to sell it to pay the hospital bill. I got a whole $225 for the car. So on our 40th wedding anniversary, she bought me those parts and said, go to work and be quiet. So I did. When I was doing it, I kind of liked the 50s, 60s music, so I thought I'd have to put something in there to kind of go with the music. So I just liked the song The Great Pretender, so I had him put The Great Pretender on there. It's a 1952 Ford Flathead. Ford started building the Flathead V8 in 1932, built it up through 1953. It was the hot rodder's dream of the day. They're the regular 40 headlights. Originally they had a parking light up on the top, and I put the turn signals and stuff in up there so we could have turn signals. You got to be kind of roadworthy with them. The 40 was a real car in its day that really was a style car. It really caught on big. Local guy, Steve Bowerman, done the interior for me. Done it in the 60s hot rod style, red and white to go with the black exterior. It's kind of got the tuck and roll pattern of the hot rod day. Not anything really exotic, just something plain and simple. Guys back then didn't have a lot of money, but they want them to look pretty, so that's kind of what I tried to imitate. Well, the 1940 Ford was pretty much the car that was used in the moonshine days for running moonshine, and Tennessee was the area that really got going in. I just kind of decided maybe I ought to have a 1940 Tennessee license plate on it. So my son, unbeknownst to me and another fella, bought one and surprised me with it, and I put it on the car, and I love it.
We caught up with Marty Waterstrout from Ididit to get some information on the car show, the company, and what Ididit does to reach the community.
This is our annual car show. We've been holding it for over 20 years now. It's a big job, it's a lot of fun. Brings in people from within probably 200-mile radius. It's open to everything up to 1979. We get, I think, a really high quality of cars. A lot of trucks, sports cars, muscle cars, street rods, you name it. I always like seeing what our product goes into, just the creativity of all the people, the cars and the trucks that are here. And this is the first year we've did this, but last night we had a party. It was a party for other vendors that we've invited to display at our shows, plus all the employees, their significant others, plus the founders of the company, Ken and Jane Callison. We invited them as well. Had a great turnout. Just all kind of relaxed, had a good time before the show. The whole building's open. They can see the manufacturing and then come up front here and talk to us in sales. We have CNC saws, lathes, mills, machine the parts here in-house and turn them into steering columns. Brandon's very precise about everything that he does. There's a saying back there somewhere that welding is not a job, it's an art. And he takes that very seriously about what he does. We've got our own in-house polishing department. And even with the bare steel products that don't really need polishing, we still turn those on a wheel too to give it a nice finish for the guy that's going to paint it. Again, quality to detail. They're really, really particular about what they do, and they do a great job of it. It doesn't take long to realize that it's a little more than just a job. These guys really care about what they're doing. A lot of the guys in the back are into cars. They don't just make a product, it's something that they know, and they enjoy making it, and they like seeing what we put them into. All of us, for the most part, have an interest in what we're doing here, not just a job.
Coming up, we check out a British beauty with a hidden secret on Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides. Welcome back to Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides from the 26th Annual Ididit Car Show, here in Tecumseh, Michigan. Not all cars here are made in the USA, but this next car has some secrets underneath.
It's a 1959 Morris, which is British. It's a model Minor 1000. Everything that you see that is red basically is Morris. Other than that, it's good old-fashioned American hot rod. I never saw a Morris Minor until I bought this one, and I've always liked the one-off stuff. You just don't see them. I've heard of them in existence. I just haven't really seen any of them. So I know they're out there. People tell me about it, but I'm looking for parts. So if I ever find another one, I'm going to grab it just for that. Say like a 1978 Ford V6, similar to what they used in a Mustang II. The game plan is to bring it into the 21st century with a turbocharged four-cylinder and intercooler, hopefully over the winter. It's got a lot of miles on it, so it's ready for an update. For the most part, it's just a fun street car that's so unusual. We went to a British car show last year in Dayton, 405 cars, and there wasn't another Morris there, and they were asking me what the heck it was. It's like, okay, you guys don't know? But originally the steering wheel was on this side of the car. If you look, the door lock is still on this side, and the hood release is still on this side of the car. So anytime we go to the car show, I've got to tell the wife right away, open the hood. Well, I like it basically because you can almost see an old coupe when you look at it. It's got those body lines, which is what drew me to it in the beginning. For the most part, I mean, I've got a little trailer hitch on it. I haul a trailer with it with my supplies. We put probably 12,000 miles on it this year alone. It's a daily driver. My pickup truck is sitting at home with a dead battery. It's been so long since I've started it because I just refuse to drive anything but this. It's fun at gas stations and banks when everybody tries to figure out what it is.
Yeah, it's a 1955 Ford Ranchero. Ford did not make Rancheros until 1957. If they would have made them in 55, this is probably what it would have looked like. Made basically out of a Crown Vic. The whole quarter sides are Crown Vic, and the tub area and the tailgate is a station wagon. And I've owned it for about 14 years and enjoy it. It was built maybe 40 years ago in Seattle, Washington, and I really didn't build it myself. I had to finish it. I had to paint it and put the interior in it. About 10 years before I actually purchased it, I bought the Crown Vic seats out of it because I was doing a Crown Vic at that time, and I traded the guy those seats. And I told him if he ever wanted to sell it, give me a call. Well, he gave me a call one day, and I rushed over there and bought it. I call it one of a kind. I had to put the back window in it, and I didn't know whether to put a sliding window in it, and I said, no, I don't want that. So I just got a piece of flat glass and put a molding in it. Now it looks like it has a glass roof in it, but it don't. It would be nice to have a glass roof in it, but they are very hot to sit underneath unless you got the curtain in there. But I painted it that dark green, and it fools a lot of people. They think it's a glass top. I like it the way it is. I'd like to maybe tweak the interior a little bit better, but I got other cars to work on. You know, you can't work on them all. The pocketbook doesn't allow that, you know.
Time now to learn about Dustless Blasting's tools and opportunities with Brian Loans.
You know, we know how much you enjoy Dream Rides by the feedback we get from our viewers. You love seeing the hot rods, the muscle cars, and the trucks that we showcase every week. You guys at Dustless Blasting know how much your customers love your product because it's the same reason. You're hearing the feedback from them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we certainly embrace social media, whether that be Facebook, YouTube, you know, and we have hundreds of contractor submitted videos.
It's pretty amazing to go to your social media channels, and it's very rare in today's day and age to see people openly praising a product or a company the way they do with you guys.
Absolutely. So many people are very, very grateful of had the opportunity to work for themselves and absolutely have been completely successful with our machines.
Pretty fulfilling opportunity as well, because not only can you go out there and maybe be involved, if you like cars, you can be involved with cars. You can also help better your community. If you're out there helping to clean up graffiti or helping to better the appearance of public spaces, that's something that literally everybody's benefiting from, and I don't think there's anything that's going to make you feel better inside than that.
Sure, everybody likes the guy that cleans, right?
I think so. So where do I need to go to find out more about Dustless Blasting, those opportunities, the feedback? Where can I see this?
Yeah, they'll head right over to dustlessblasting.com. We're right on our page. You can like us on Facebook and also visit our YouTube channel.
How about a newsletter?
Absolutely. Put in your email, and every Friday you'll get our weekly news update.
So there you go. If you want to be tied into the Dustless Blasting universe, keep up to date on everything with the newsletter, visit them on social media, visit them on Facebook, or go right to dustlessblasting.com and get the scoop straight from the source. Thank you very much, man.
Next up on Dustless Blasting Presents Dream Rides, we have a mean Mercury with some major mods. Stay with us. Dustless Blasting Presents Dream Rides is being brought to you by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Hurst, America's #1 shifter. Evans Cooling Systems, the solution to overheating and corrosion. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation. Welcome back to Dustless Blasting Presents Dream Rides. We've seen some rare cars and some massively modded trucks. Next up, we'll check out a 51 Mercury with both class and a custom attitude.
I've owned this 51 Mercury for a period of about 23 and a half years. Good story is that I've owned it twice. I sold it once, made that mistake, had it for 9 years, sold it, got it back 4.5 years later from the same man, and now I've had it for 14 years since. So it's been a fun car, and last weekend I was at James Dean over in Indiana with it. It's just a fun car to take out and cruise around in. When I got it, it was a light pink color, and we've rounded the hood corners, put the scoops in the hood, and put different taillights in it. That's the Mercury Custom. The more you do to it, the better. It's chopped 4.5 inches. I cut the skull above the front license plate in half, hollowed it out, and put some lights in the eyeballs. That was a fun little project. And just like to do tinker around things like that. The dice light up in the mirror. You just got to do your own little touches to a car when you get it. It is the iconic custom car. The younger people come up to me and say, Cobra. You know, they remember Sylvester Stallone driving one in Cobra. The older folks, James Dean, Rebel Without a Cause. So it's interesting to see the generational breakdown when it comes to this car. The pinstriping was done back in 1990 in a gentleman in Monroe, Michigan. It's held up really well. The interior's been done 3 times since I've owned it. The last interior before this was all red, and everybody told me too much red, Lynn, so we changed it, and the interesting story there, I won a pair of beige floor mats at a car show, and they looked so good in there, I went and got the seats to match the floor mats. It's a 305 small block Chevy with a 4-barrel, turbo 350 automatic behind it. At a swap meet a couple years ago, I seen this front plate. It said Area 51, that's where the flying saucers are. Anyways, I seen that, and it's a 51 Mercury. I had to have that plate. The back one, my daughter lives in California. She sent a California plate to my house, and all I did was glue some hand magnets behind it and slap it on the back plate over the Michigan plate. Only for car shows. When I leave, I take it off and put that in the trunk. I traded a 55 Chevy convertible for it, and I don't regret it. I've had a lot of fun with this car. It's just good to have it back again. Now that I'm retired, I have more time to play with it.
It's a 1933 Chevy Master 2-door sedan. I bought the car in a bushel basket about 20 years ago. Those cars came with wood framing in them. There was very little of the wood left that wasn't any good, so I ripped it all out, welded all new steel in it. It's got a steel cage in it. My engine's a 350 Chevy. Nothing special. We got a warmed up cam in it, and that's about it. The paint is a DuPont custom color called Hot Hues. I got some seats out of a junkyard because there was no seats with it, you know, in the package or anything. And I did a lot of measuring in the junkyard, hunting down and so on and so forth. And then I found a couple of upholsterers to help me out there, so we got that together, you know. I like oddball stuff. There aren't a lot of them around. So that's what I was looking for, you know. And 34s, 32s, 35s, there's a bunch of those around. But there aren't a lot of 33s, so that's why I went with 33. I never really built a hot rod from scratch. I restored some cars, so everything I did had to do twice. But it turned out pretty good. It's a pretty reliable driver. It goes down the road 75 miles an hour.
That's all the time we have from the Ididit Car Show in Tecumseh, Michigan. We've seen cars and trucks of all styles. Next week, we'll be coming to you from Henderson, North Carolina with more of your favorite rides. See you next week.